So it's funny because the iPod Touch hasn't even been, released in a very long amount of time, and the iPod in general is still a very interesting type of device that came out so many years ago. For a long time, this was like Apple's, not necessarily bread and butter, but this was one of those products that when you look at Apple, you would not think there would be an Apple without an iPod. And it's very funny because that kind of thought process now kind of changed to now thinking there can never be an Apple without an iPhone. And one of the things that I love the most about the iPods is that it kind of showcases, even beyond just the hardware itself, it kind of showcases that companies can kind of reinvent themselves. And just because they're known for one thing right now, doesn't mean they can't switch or maybe like kind of go into a different industry or kind of maximize in another existing industry and kind of change the outlook of what, people would look at for their company. If, for example, like again, 10, 20 years ago, if you were to look at, Apple, 20 years ago, it was basically just iPods, MacBooks, and like that was kind of it. Really, it was like MacBooks, Mac products, iMacs, things like that. Now the fact that Apple was able to make those iPods was actually very crazy because that opened the foray into Apple, into iTunes and so many other things, and it made Apple a bunch of money. Another reason why I like the iPod so much is because, and why I still love it in 2024, is the fact that it showcases, again, you can change industries and everything like that, but the impact of the iPod is still felt all around the world. It's funny because there's still so much nostalgia behind iPods in general, and there's even like some applications that came out so long ago, not only for our iPhones and Androids that mimicked iPods, like the iPod Video, for example, but it would also like on devices like the Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo DS, for those types of consoles that you were able to mod, you were actually able to go through and basically get another like kind of like an iPod type of layout on those things, which was like just an MP3 player, but it was in the style of an iPod, which was something that was very funny, very interesting. And that was another thing that I loved a lot about these iPods as well. Beyond that though, beyond just what they mean to people and the companies and everything, I still think having an iPod isn't the worst thing ever. A reason why I think the iPod is still kind of good, that, kind of exists kind of somewhat. And the reason why Apple, I think, made the iPod Touch 7th generation even, was so developers could get actually a cheaper way of kind of coming into the Apple ecosystem without having to go ahead and buy a super expensive iPhone. You could buy an iPod Touch that was like sub, $200 at the time and still get a supported, iPod, iOS type of video or iOS type of device that could still get you support, that could still get you things. And that I think was a super impressive, super important thing going on for that particular device. So ultimately, those are some reasons why I actually still love the iPod, in general, even beyond just the iPod Touch. I love these iPods a lot still. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.